Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is a true nerd, and welcome to our first look at Total War 3 Kingdoms. Oh yes, I've managed to get my hands on this a little early and I'm very excited. I think a lot of people will be as well, because this is the first big, historical, proper Total War game in some time. Because of course, Thrones of Britannia was one of the little saga experiments, and Warhammer and Warhammer 2 were very different with their fancy setting. But this is good, solid, classic Total War territory in China for the very first time, and ooh, yes indeed. Now obviously, the game's still some way off, so I haven't been allowed to play a huge amount. I've seen the campaign map, it's very nice and colourful, but the bit I've been allowed to play, the bit I've been allowed to capture, and the bit I can share with you today is in fact a battle. A rather pretty nighttime moonlit ambush battle, to be precise.
It is quiet here, brother. Too quiet for my tastes. Something feels wrong. Shh! There! Movement in the tree line. An ambush is imminent. We must be ready. If we cross the river, we could escape through the southern gates. Or we could attempt to survive the ambush through force of arms. This hill would make a good defensive position en route, should more forces arrive. Prepare for battle, brother, and may your blade strike true!
So here we are in an ambush, and yes indeed, our position is not great. Let's have a quick glance here at the enemy. Unfortunately, have the high ground. Ooh, it's very pretty with the soft colours and the lantern. So, we've got ourselves a bunch of light and medium melee infantry at the front. 5 units there, going to be coming thundering down the hill at us, combined with, 2 archer units and their general, or rather leader, a strategist. He's not very good in hand-to-hand combat, he's more of a support unit, so we don't have to worry about him charging in. So, we have got archers on the high ground and a whole bunch of swordsmen charging down at us. Not good. And of course, we're in a marching column because this is an ambush battle. So, let's have a look, see what we got here. We've got ourselves 2 leaders. This is Sun Ren, although I'm told it's actually pronounced Suan Ren. So that's Suan Ren, and our second leader over there, Suan Quan. So he's more of a commander, so he's more of the support class. Meanwhile, she's actually a vanguard, so she's good at smashing into things. In addition, those horses are her troops because they're next to her portrait. So, we're going to put them into one control group and move them off to one side. Because if they're going to be stupid enough to come charging down the hill, then we might just be able to turn the tide on them very, very easily indeed. Now, as for my infantry, swordsmen, 2 heavy spears, and 2, the Azure Dragons at the end there. They're sort of interesting. They can be spearmen, they also have bows, so they can actually be put into bow or spear mode. We'll keep them as infantry for now. We've got a bunch of trees behind us. The trees will provide us with a bit of cover from those archers, so I'm just going to pull the infantry back right now into the tree line. And I'm also going to bring my commander and his little radius back behind them as well, because he can provide buffs around him, which is beautiful. Now, one thing I do need to do as well, we're right under attack from archers. So he's got himself a special ability, Stone Bulwark. So as a result of that, he can basically increase the chance that, the incoming arrows will do nothing. So I'm going to activate that immediately, purely to provide a little bit of cover from these bastards. Ooh, it's very pretty. The trees have already managed to catch fire. And as you can see there, yes indeed, every single unit belongs to a particular commander. So, we've got to make sure that troops are kept close by to their commander, otherwise there's going to be problems with morale. Anyway, these guys are all drawn up, time to put them into a defensive position. So, my heavy spearmen, I'll put them into a spear wall, bit like a phalanx, I guess. Meanwhile, my swordsmen, I will put them into their shield wall formation, which gives them missile block chance and also charge resistance. So as a result of that, these guys coming thundering across the plain won't be able to do so much damage. These guys I could put into archer or spear mode. I'm just going to keep them in spear mode. No point them being in archer mode right now because, they're about to be closed in on. Now, this is where the cavalry starts becoming very, very useful indeed. I'm going to start moving them into the right position because they're her cavalry, so they're getting bonuses off her. Now, time to go in, slam into the side of these swordsmen, and immediately turn the battle around. And I love the new interface, by the way, where it's the circle that drains away, so you can actually see what's going on in terms of, the strength of the unit. That's very, very nice. It's very readable, so I quite like that. So I'm just going to pull my cavalry straight back out now. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to detach one of my units of cav and send them up the hill to deal with the archers. Cav are a lot stronger than they were at Thrones of Britannia. They're actually almost a bit more like Rome 1. Cavalry are ridiculous god tier again. So they can basically just charge and they can just deal with that unit of archers by themselves. Now, she's got herself a special ability, Flames of the Phoenix, because she's a vanguard. She's good at fighting. So I'm going to activate that right now. And she can just send men flying. That can be used infinite times on a 30-second cooldown. So basically her job is to get into the enemy, kill them, smash them up a bit, use her special ability to just send them flying, disrupt their formations. She is great at that sort of business. And already, yeah, the first wave of the ambush is starting to collapse. Don't worry, there's more to come yet, but this first wave is pretty much done. Right, they've been seen off, but we need to get ourselves drawn up again quick.
Enemy reinforcements are on the field!
Alright, here comes the second wave. Don't see it yet, but it's around here somewhere. Ah, there we go. Right, so they're over by the gate we can escape through. So I've got to get over the river, and that hill will be very, very bloody convenient indeed if I could actually get over to it. But that river is going to slow me right down. Also, ooh, it's very pretty with the lights and the new troops. Yeah, it looks very, very nice indeed. I like the way this looks. Right, I need to get everyone over the river, but the river is going to slow them down, especially the infantry. The infantry are going to be very, very slow indeed. So I'm going to send the cavalry up ahead, because I've got a little bit of a plan here. You see, my cavalry and my generals can actually move ahead, and the enemy are advancing with a couple of just, you know, little light sword infantry. So I'm going to throw my leaders and my cavalry straight into the front of them. All I'm trying to do here is I'm going to try and buy my units time so they can get the high ground. Because if I can get the entirety of my army up on the high ground, that'd be flipping marvellous. And just look at those cav. Alright, this is just basic little mercenary medium or light cav, but it's still doing a beautiful job against swordsmen. They're so powerful. Still, the job is done. I've bought time. Time to pull back. Ah, except their general has taken the bait. He's gone and got himself up front, which is good, because my vanguard, my special duelist, has an ability. Heartseeker. A super powerful blast that should take off a good bit of his health. Let's just zoom in for this, and apparently it has friendly fire on it because I've just killed a fair amount of my cavalry, but look at his health. Absolutely flipping slaughtered, and now it's time to get involved with a duel with him. So we're already miles ahead. And Flames of the Phoenix, which works so nicely against the infantry, will also do beautiful work against him. So in a moment she'll activate that and sends him flying. So she is slaughtering him. It's not all good news though. The third wave is already here and the second wave isn't taken care of. So I'm just going to try and see if I can block up the river with my own heavy spearmen, because they've brought cav. No, sadly, we're able to block up a bit of the river. One of the units of cav made it through. So my Azure Dragons in spear mode can deal with that. That will do. But I'm really, really lacking in infantry right now. Still, I've got swordsmen, and these are all spearmen, and their general's about to go down. My swordsman should be able to tear these spearmen apart if we can just finish off that leader. And he is almost flipping dead already. We're just going to have to hold as best we can at the rear. And there goes their general. Sun Ren is victorious, and their general's gone down. Now that is going to help a lot with morale. At the back, meanwhile, we've got trouble. Their unit of cavalry is still causing trouble, but my Azure Dragons, hopefully one of them, can start firing in with some flaming arrows. So hopefully, while they're all bunched there, that'll do some good work. But that heavy cav, that is getting in the way. But look at this. All of these units are starting to fall apart because their general's dead and my general is getting involved and helping out. Both of my heroes just starting to tear those spearmen apart. Those spearmen going up against swordsmen. Oh yeah, going up against the actual great big Phoenix Blast. They're going to be screwed. So we should be able to win here. The problem is there's still basically 5 full strength units of heavy spears at the rear we've barely even touched, and their leader as well.
The enemy warriors are running!
Nice. Alright, so at the front door, it looks like we've got good news. The second wave has almost completely collapsed. My cavalry is going to try and intercept their cav, but their cav's heavy versus my medium cav. It is not going particularly well, and my spears are almost completely dead on the river. So at this point, we just need to finish off the last of the spears on the hill. At that point, it's the remnants of my swordsmen and my 2 leaders versus all of their spearmen and their 1 surviving leader. That is That's going to be tight. I'm not sure who's actually going to win that one, but at the bare minimum, it looks like, yeah, we've done a decent job on the first 2 waves. And yeah, there they go. Alright, so, what is left? Sword units, maybe half strength, move them into position, and my leaders too. The problem is, my vanguard leader, Sun Ren, she's only got about half her health right now, so even though she is a very skilled duelist, she'd probably lose against their leader. That could be a problem. I need to get my cavalry out of there before it's torn apart by their heavy cav. On the plus side, they've basically got nothing but spearmen. My swordsmen are the rock to those scissors. So, with the high ground advantage too, we should be able to do a decent job here. Especially if she gets involved and uses Flames of the Phoenix. So she gets over there and does a good bit of damage to them. Very, very nice indeed. Alright, this is going well, and he's just staying at the back, providing potentially some buffs if we need to over there. And my cavalry is, yeah, weak and for the moment out of the way. It's just been chased off by their heavy cav. Unfortunately, the spearmen have rallied. So there's now more spearmen coming back up behind me. And even worse, their general's now charging up here. And I don't know if I can take him down in a one-to-one duel. Because, yeah, one-to-one duels are now a big, big part of things. Right, time to get my cavalry around here, see what we can do. My swordsmen can actually intercept those damaged spears. We can see them off. That's not going to be a problem. Oh, he's challenging me to a duel. I'm going to accept because I've got a plan here. You're probably thinking she's going to lose. Yes, she is. Except this guy and this girl are brother and sister. So if she dies, he's going to get himself a very, very nice Berserker Rage bonus for the time being. And she can hold her own, at least for the minute, with her little Flames of the Phoenix ability. And if nothing else, it might buy us some time while my swordsmen regroup on the hill. But this is starting to look dicey. Very, very dicey indeed. Because, yeah, family are now a very, very big part of things. Like, if you kill a particular general, their family will be gunning for you. And there she goes. Sun Ren is down, and Sun Quan is not thrilled, but he is now going to have an absolutely flipping massive boost to all of his stats. And that means I think I've got myself a plan, which is he may not be a duelist, but if he's got all his super angry, you just killed my sister anger on board, then he might just be able to take on a much more skilled duelist, given his sister did actually just manage to soften up that guy. So, that's my guy in yellow right now, and everyone else backs off. This is just between the two of them. So, alright, that lad's got a massive great axe, and this guy is not a natural fighter, and he is being tossed around by Axeman, but he has got the health advantage, alright? He's going to be just fine. The remaining units they're starting to scatter, and those spearmen are looking, yeah, damaged. It's not impossible we could win this one with just my one remaining hero. Because if I manage to kill their hero and their morale falls in the toilet, I could just basically charge them. It's not impossible. This is going to be down to the flipping wire. He's got almost no health, but he's taken a lot of my health off too, because this guy is just not a duelist. It's not his job. His job is to stand behind my line, buff my units. That's what he's supposed to do. It's gonna be flipping close. Come on. Come on, Sun Quan. I believe in you. And, oh, it's right down to the wire. Oh, but a sword through the face. That'll sort it out. Right, both of their generals are dead. Both of their generals are dead. The question is, are you actually... Oh, you've got almost no health left either. Unfortunately, that fight's left you incredibly weak. He runs back to his horse, hops back on board. The question is, can he do anything at this point, or is his health so low that he's going to immediately... No, he's going for it. He's naffing off. Oh, that is going to be a defeat, but... Oh, they ran away too! They broke immediately afterwards. They were so close. Oh, that was so close. Because literally, I didn't even touch that sword unit, and it immediately broke. I could have just vaguely stood near the rest of the actual enemy unit, and they'd probably have gone. That was so flipping close. Darn it. Oh, bad luck. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all of my own gameplay that I can share with you. But there is more, because I was able to ask a few questions to the devs, and ooh, I think you're going to like the focus. I was talking there about characters and family relationships. That's a big part of it now. Like, there's going to be a big focus on family trees and relationships and who you do and don't get on with, and that's going to inform what you can do politically and diplomatically. And in general, it sounds like in some ways there's actually a lot of ideas that sound sort of Crusader Kings 2-ish being introduced into Total War. So I am very, very interested indeed, as I am in the new intrigue system, because now you don't just spy on your enemies, you can infiltrate them. You can actually have your spies go and infiltrate enemy factions and be promoted to spies, diplomats, generals, whatever. You can actually have your men leading enemy armies, so they will just give you full line of sight and can do other actions for you. I don't know what all the actions are going to be yet, but this sounds very, very good indeed. Including, and right up to the fact that you can infiltrate enemy factions' families. Maybe even have one of your agents become the faction leader of another faction. Now, the devs are being a bit cagey as to, you know, what you would and wouldn't be able to do if you actually managed to engineer that, but that sounds so cool. That sounds so cool indeed. There's a lot I'm liking here. I'm liking the classic Total War feel, cavalry feel, yeah, almost Rome 1-ish with their power level. It has a certain rock, paper, scissors simplicity that might be a bit familiar to you. It almost feels a bit Shogun 2-ish, which is nice. The elegant combat of Shogun 2, where units served very distinct purposes, but there wasn't necessarily like the widest variety of units in the world. That worked really nicely. A lot of people really like that. The new relationship system and the new intrigue system, oh yeah, this could be something very, very special indeed. I think the first big, proper main entry to the Total War franchise that's a historical game for quite some time is going to be quite an interesting return to form. Rest assured, you'll be seeing more of this as soon as I can get my hands on it, ladies and gentlemen. But in the meantime, I've been John. This has been many a True Nerd, and this has been Total War 3 Kingdoms. Ooh, this one's shaping up nicely. Thank you very much, and goodbye. This guy's enjoying that. This guy's enjoying his elephant a bit too much.
Oh my god.
In fair Verona, we set our scene. Oh my god, Becky, look at her butt. It is so big. They've managed to glitch inside one of the buildings. Elephants in the rear! And then in come the chariot!